All right, kids, it just says it in the manual. Plate current should be limited to 400 milliamps maximum for digital modes. I'm assuming FT8 is included here. And that the grid current should be limited to 120 milliamps. When you violate that little rule, you end up with something like this. All right, well, good morning. I'm going to be changing the plate choke on my Al-811H amplifier because you can see it got scorched. Entirely due to operator error, probably more deliberate than I should have been. I was operating outside the boundaries of the manual, and it was good until it wasn't. So, but what I have not seen on the internet is what's underneath the parasitic board, because I was curious as to how the top of the choke attaches, because there's just a single wire. Let me see if I can get down in here. This is I think the original choke. So there's the wire attachment. Hopefully that's in focus. And they changed it on the replacement components, something a little different. So, but the unfortunate thing is you got to take this shaft and this subboard out in order to get to the screw at the bottom. So I'll do the big reveal here in a moment. Okay, so underneath the board we have, it looks like a lock washer. Looks like there's a ring there, and then that top wire attaches to, or is soldered to, that doodad there. So there's the plate blocking capacitors, and it looks like that wire, oh shoot, what's the phrase I'm looking for here? There we go, coffee kicking in finally. The lacquered wire is soldered to this point here. Why is that not focusing? Sorry, I was having a focus issue there. So it looks like it attaches right there, so that will be desoldered. The trick with this obviously is getting enough tension on the screw to make sure that that lock washer activates without cracking this ceramic. And then there's the attachment at the bottom of the plate choke. Why won't you focus? Anyway, so that will, I'll show you the new part here in a second. So this is the new plate choke. Slightly different design. It's got a lock ring here, but on the bottom of the lock ring, if I could just learn how to use a camera, bottom of the lock ring, they have soldered that in a separate spot. So I'm assuming I just soldered to the top of the ring, and then I'm sure that that is the connection at the top. I think one thing to note is, since this is a lacquered wire, you got to scrub that lacquer coat off the point that attaches to the metal where you're going to solder it. The kit, it came with a component I didn't recognize initially, so it looks like there's a spacer. Oh, if I could get my, there we go. There's a spacer at the bottom that this thing rides on. I didn't see that in the previous videos on the internet. One comes with the kit, so I'll be swapping that out as well, but I'll keep the lock washer, and I don't know if there's a lock washer on the bottom. I haven't seen that in some of the videos, but this whole thing has to come out to get to that screw at the bottom. And then one last note. So in order to get this shaft out, I'm going to follow Tom's instructions. He's the designer of this amplifier. I think its call sign is W8 Juliet India, W8JI. He recommends removing only one screw, this one closest to the selector switch, and not to remove the one on the shaft side, because alignment is kind of key. So I've got a whole bunch of alignment marks. So hopefully when I take that out, it'll go back together the way it came. So just as a note, this is the disc that came with the kit, but it covers the screw heads, and I'm not gonna notch this thing out, so I'm probably gonna go back to what originally shipped with the amplifier. Okay, so I've reattached the wire up here. This was a short run, but I think I've gotten it to where it needs to be. Had to, there was a, what do you call it, zip tie back there that was kind of keeping me from making the run here, so I don't think I need to change anything there, but we'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna finish putting this together. I got the fan kit I'm gonna put in next from Tom. Although that's a newer fan, apparently it doesn't have the SCFM needed to really keep things cool according to him, so I'm going to use his fan kit. All right, kids, so update here. So I cut the fan leads. I was going to desolder these, but for some, oh, that's not dry yet, great. For some reason I couldn't get them to unsolder, and I didn't want to put any more heat to it, so liquid tape it is, and liquid tape on my hands I got. The board, hang on, let me go back in the instruction here. This one comes with a circuit board, and you cut this white wire on the amplifier, and then you solder those connections into the board here. I'm going to clean this up a little bit, add a little bit more solder, but so far so good. And then I'm guessing that this yellow wire is going to go to one of the yellow wires at the front, but I'll read the directions the rest of the way by then. I was wondering why the switch wasn't fitting in the hole, and that's because this hole just happens to be not big enough. So 1/4 inch drill bit, let's get to work. All right, so here's the completed updated fan assembly. Hang on, there we go, updated fan assembly. And it runs power to that location on the meter per the instructions. So you don't use these two black wires again. I'll probably get rid of those at some point, but I'm gonna put this back together and let's see what happens when we fire it up and see what our idle, I think there's an idle test for amperage, so I'm gonna try that. All right, guys, in the instructions here, so ideal idle is 10 to 20 milliamps per tube. The 4-tube Al-811H should be between 40 and 80 milliamps. I've got just the amp plugged in, nothing going in, out to a dummy load. And so I'm gonna flip this switch, it is flipped, so we are at the proper voltage. And when I key the transmit, there we go, it looks like about 75. Initially it was really low because I went with the default settings on the jumper here. I backed it down an inch, or to the lowest one, because this is an older amp. It's got the bias modifications done to it, and this is now starting to discharge. So I didn't need additional bias. It actually was kind of too low. It was kind of like 20 milliamps, 25 milliamps. So I just went with the lowest setting. So it looks like this amp is ready to rock and roll. So I'm kind of stunned here. I'm just tuning it up for the first time, and I'm getting a lot more, I guess, efficiency. I don't get it. I'm only driving with 30 watts right now, and I'm getting like 420-ish out. Cool, seems to be working. I'll try some voice here in a minute.